welcome to this episode of Art Sibley in Conversation. My name is Diane Collin. I am a woman with short hair, blue eyes, and glasses, and today I wear a black top. Behind me are an electronic piano and white shelves with books. This series presents artists, academics, and project leaders who dedicate their time and energy to a better accessibility for people with disabilities in the arts. You can find more of these conversations on our website, artsably.com, which is spelled ARTSABLY.com. Today, Art Sibley is in conversation with Danielle Holobaugh, who is a singer, an actor, and a songwriter living and working in Los Angeles. You can find the resources mentioned by Danielle Holobaugh during this episode on Art Sibley's website in the blog section.
We were so in love, couldn't get enough, everything was perfect. We kept each other warm, weathered every storm, made it feel so worth it. But just like a ship sinking quickly, you disappeared like a ghost, leaving behind all this heartache. Now I have to face it alone. The air gets cold, I hear your voice, but you're not there to hold. It's like I'm living in a haunted mansion. It's like I'm living in a haunted mansion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this new episode of Art Sibley in Conversation. Today, I am with Danielle Holobaugh, who is a singer, an actor, and a songwriter, and she lives and works in Los Angeles. Thank you, Danielle, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I know you are a multi-talented person. You're doing a lot of things in acting and in singing. And I wanted to have a little bit of your background before we know a little bit more about your work. So where do you come from? What is your background? Did you do some musical studies, or what brought you to where you are today?
So I'm from Florida. I grew up very lucky because my hometown started a theater program for kids with disabilities. And so I got signed up for that, and I got early on a chance to perform on stage. And the first ever number that I did on stage was my friend and I fighting over who gets to sing the solo. So it was very fitting. So my dad teaches karate. I do take from him, and he puts on a lot of kickboxing events. So I also started performing at those events pretty early on. I'm talking like 6 or 7. And yeah, it was really cool. I got a lot of stage experience that way. And then by the time I was a teenager, I started competing and looking for talent showcases. And when I did my first showcase, they were like, you need to start writing too, because that's the only way that labels are really gonna have any interest in you. So I did. I started writing, and I demoed my first original songs 3 or 4 years later. And at that point, I also fell in love with the studio, to the point where I realized that's actually what I want to do, is record. And when I found out that being a session singer was a thing, I was like, okay, now I've got like a more realistic career goal than being a famous pop star.
Mhm.
So um, I looked for work wherever I could here in Florida. And then I eventually moved to LA, where I met a lot more producers and found a lot more resources. And yeah, I started working a lot more in the studio and performing less. And I've had some really cool experiences since then. I so I'm really happy for kind of the journey that this has taken me on.
And when did you start acting?
I started acting kind of in the same vein. I did plays and stuff in high school, and I finally did my first short film toward the end. And then I majored in acting in college, but I had a bad experience with the teacher, and I actually have a whole story about how I quit acting for a long time and came back to it. Um, but basically, I came back to it because of the pandemic and wanting something to do. I'm like, I'll take an acting class because I need to like sharpen my skills again. And I fell head over heels and got connected to all sorts of resources I never had available to me before, and built a really cool community. And yeah, now I'm hopefully on the upswing.
So what made you, I'm interested in this little story you were mentioning. What made you force, what was your bad experience in theater or in acting courses?
So when I signed up for my acting class, my teacher actually sent me home with a letter, and he said someone like me could never pass his class and I should drop it. And being the spirit that I am, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Too bad, you're gonna deal with me. But that had a pretty bad effect on me because working with somebody who doesn't want you there, it kind of bleeds out in different ways. And he wasn't nice to me or encouraging. I still learned a lot because I really focused on the material, but he himself kind of broke me down a lot. So yeah, that was kind of my not so great start into the kind of the reality of what Hollywood is.
But did he ever give a reason?
Um, because of my blindness.
I was fearing that was the case.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. But I'm happy you went back to it.
Yeah. Me too, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel more complete.
But and so you're doing that today you are an accomplished singer and actor. So
Mhm.
what are you doing? What are your what is your everyday life as an actor and a singer?
So, I've done a few short films and commercials and stuff like that as an actor, and then as a singer, I've been um working on the last couple of years. I've had a couple jingles air on TV, like national TV, which is really, really cool. And yeah, right now, literally today, we're working on a batch of songs to send to an ad agency. So I'm really excited to see how all of that turns out. So I'm in the middle of a lot of writing and recording sessions.
I saw that you had a role in Darman,
Hmm.
but that was 2018? No, when was that?
No, it was last year.
Last year. Okay. So yeah, that is good because I like this series. So can you talk more about that this episode that you shot with Darman?
Hmm. Yeah, I'd been an extra for him before, so it was really cool that they called me back to do this role. And it really highlights the importance of casting authentically, because there were a lot of things in the script that I helped them kind of rework, and also just by working with me, they themselves were like, okay, this isn't right. So it was really cool to like be on set. It was a big sound stage in Burbank, so that was really cool because usually I'll shoot in homes or outdoors or whatever. So to be on that sound stage in California, in Los Angeles, was really neat. And yeah, breaking barriers.
For those who don't know what Dharma does, this series, it really presents short films of issues in the society that might happen, like bullying or like treating people a different way. And it's short episodes every time. It's not that long, right? Every time it's what is the length of one episode usually?
I think mine was like 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is good. I mean, it's really.
Mhm.
And then there is really a build-up of a story and something that's always concludes at the end. So I really like that format.
Yeah.
And you did other you participated in other movies or
Mhm.
series. But the one that I really had a look at, I saw the different versions, or every year you did a different one, was the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge.
Oh, yes.
So can you talk about that, your experience on that, and also doing it every year, different scenario, and how does
Mhm.
it work for you?
I love it so much because it's really the only program out there that's encouraging disabled people to tell our own stories. And I like that as much as I love dramatic acting is definitely my favorite, but I like that they're more focused on like the comedy and lighter side of things. So every year they give you a genre and they give you some things you have to include in your film. And you're off to the races. You start writing your story, and you only have 5 days to write to make a 5-minute film. So it's a little bit hectic, but it's so much fun. And the people I've formed friendships with and the allies that I've met through that program are so, so, so valuable.
But you made how many films did you do with them? Three, right?
So far, 4.
Four. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good. It's interesting because it's not only about, it's the process that is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, the 5 days to do a 5 minutes, how do you choose the actors who are going to be part of that film?
Um, in my case, I originally wanted to make one in Florida, but that fell through. So there's an awesome blind actor, Marilee Talkington. She sponsored a couple of teams, blind teams, for the film challenge. So I emailed her. I applied to be on one of the teams, and it just so happened that 3 or 4 of us were in LA for the time of the challenge. So we actually got to meet in person. I'd never met other visually impaired actors before in person. So that was just a really, really cool experience. So in our case, we already assembled a team, and we were going to write based on the actors in the team. But I know other people who kind of wrote their script skeleton ahead of time and did little casting calls and stuff like that. But in my case, it's either been being on the blind team or just getting with some friends and doing it that way.
I recognize some of the actors in actually I saw three, and in the three they
Mhm.
were the same actors. So I guess you create a kind of a friendship with this team.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Very good. So, okay, I want to go back to your music.
Hmm.
I know you are right now having a few albums that's going to be, or at least a song that will release
Hmm.
soon. Um, I will ask you to talk a little bit about that, but I also have a question about, you told me you were beginning to produce yourself.
Yeah. So, the song that's coming out was co-produced by me. Um, during quarantine, I hired a tutor because I've always recorded my own vocals. I was working from home a lot more, so I um hired someone to kind of teach me the ropes about using a software called Reaper. And yeah, he taught me to do things I never thought I'd be able to. So not only did he help me improve my vocal recording, vocal editing, and stuff like that, which I do in my everyday life, but he also kind of gave me tips and tricks on putting my music together. And I will say the main producer that I use for most of my music, he also was helping me just learn things. Like I can always go to him if I have any questions. And yeah, I wouldn't say that I could produce something totally by myself, but it's been really cool to like have such an involved hand in my own music.
I interviewed someone called Jessica Tomlinson a few weeks ago, and she's also using Reaper, and
I see
she
her in the group. That's so funny.
it was really interesting because I never heard of Reaper before interviewing her, and I was able to
Mhm.
really have a feel of how important this work is. And I think they have a team, right, called Reapers Without Peepers.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, good. So now about your song. Tell me more about that.
Mhm. Yeah, so I produced most of it and then took it to my producer who kind of cleaned it up and made it sound awesome. And so it's called Mess, and it's kind of, I wrote it in 2021 because that was just a horrible year for me. And it just is about how you kind of tend to shut yourself in when you're feeling bad. Like society wants you to come out and play, and you're just like, no, you really don't want to see me like this. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to hear, to see what people think of it.
So when is it released?
It'll be in July at some point.
Okay, good. And it's going to be available on Spotify, things like that, or?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Oh, looking forward to it. And I will also
Yeah.
post links to your links and Spotify and on Art Sibley's website so that people can have a look too and listen to it.
Awesome.
Okay, I have a question about, so you've been working in disability arts for some time,
Mhm.
whether it is with Easter Seals or whether it is with your own experience that you try to carry. I wanted to ask you what it means to work in disability arts for you.
I think it means so many different things. My experiences with music and acting are so different. Um, as a musician, especially as a session musician, I've never had to disclose a disability, especially when I work from home. Um, so I get hired purely based on my voice and my talent, which is really special. And as an actor, um, it's really forced me to kind of be more open about it because I've always been very insecure about my disability, and certainly a lot of my acting related experiences haven't helped with that, but also getting to meet other actors with disabilities like has kind of made me feel more empowered to um kind of talk about it more. Because I can't not tell somebody. Like if I don't tell somebody when I send in an audition, they're gonna be like, what are her eyes doing? You know? So um it's it's been really cool to kind of get out of that comfort zone and be able to highlight something about me that I've always tried to keep as hidden from the world as I could.
Mhm. I see. Yeah, definitely. When you have, so I think a bad experience can also project you to um,
Hmm.
a good transformation,
Yeah.
and you've been able to do that. So that's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I have a last question for you, which is about people in your career or in your life who've been able to inspire you, motivate you, or to bring you to a place where you are today, and thanks to whom you are here. And if you had one or two people or more to think of, who would it be, and why?
The people who have really changed things for me, I would say, are the main music producer that I work with, Eric. He really pushed me to learn production of my own. He opened me up to the world of music licensing, which is an awesome way to like make money in the music industry without having to like show your face. And um just always really been encouraging of me. And then on the acting side, it's hard because there's really not a lot of people like me with a roadmap. Um, I've kind of had to figure it all out on my own. So I would say the people who've really um, deserve all the credit are my teachers who were okay with happy to work with me and who took on the challenge and kind of decided to navigate these waters with me. I have a couple in New York who are disability allies, and they talk about authentic casting a lot. And so, um, yeah, I'm really lucky to have the mentorship that I do.
We share that experience that great mentors, really you carry them for your whole career, right?
Hmm.
And that's good.
Yeah.
It erases, it doesn't erase completely what happened with your teacher, but
Hmm.
it reinforces the way he was bad. He was not right about it.
Yes.
So today you feel confident in your acting and your singing and your
Hmm.
songwriting, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I struggle like anyone else, but I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm in great hands.
Okay, so thank you so much for discussing all these important topics with us today,
Thank you.
and all the best with your songs and your the one that is released in July, and also your acting.
Thank you so much.
And have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.